Once upon a time, in a small village called Konsamba, there lived a young woman named Aminatou. Aminatou was 35 years old, but she had no husband, no children, no money, no business, and no higher education. Aminatou was just a girl who had no life at 35. She felt she hadn't understood anything about her life. She had nothing to hold on to or call her own. She was lost in her own world. All her children had fortunately married and started families. Some of them had successful careers and were doing very well. But Aminatou's life was the complete opposite. Although this was never the life she wanted to live, or the one she envisioned for herself, the circumstances surrounding her were beyond her control and she couldn't thrive. Aminatou lived in a small village called Konsamba with her elderly and sick mother and her 12-year-old sister, Khadija. Her father had died when she was 6 years old, leaving her mother alone to raise them. However, life took a tragic turn when her mother fell ill and was no longer able to take care of them. Her mother had been sick for many years and couldn't work to provide for Aminatou and her sister Khadija. At the tender age of 18, Aminatou had the sole responsibility of taking care of herself, her elderly mother, and her younger sister. Her mother's illness prevented her from leaving the village to seize opportunities in the city and pursue her education. She was stuck in the village where she had to do manual labour for people to earn money and take care of her sister and sick mother. Life was very hard for Aminatou because she worked tirelessly day and night to take care of her sister and mother. Aminatou had too many responsibilities, and this prevented her from planning her future. As a result, her life was not settled even at that point in her life. Whenever Aminatou crossed the road, she saw her childhood friends, some of them in exotic cars with their husbands. When she tried to greet or talk to them, they mostly ignored her. They would give her a mean and condescending look. Aminatou was despised by all her childhood friends because she was nowhere near their level of success. None of them wanted to talk to her or socialise with her. They didn't want her as a friend because they considered her worthless and beneath their level. Many times Aminatou had tried to greet or have a conversation with her childhood friends when she met them along the way, but they invariably ignored her, acting as if she didn't exist. This treatment always left her feeling humiliated and discouraged. She had become ashamed and would always hide when she saw one of her childhood friends approaching from a distance. She didn't want to be seen in her current state. One day, as Aminatou was going to the market to buy food for dinner, she saw her childhood friend, Fadimatou, approaching from afar. But before she could find a place to hide, Fadimatou had already spotted her. Fadimatou had just returned from the city and looked very beautiful and elegant. She said to Aminatou, "Aminatou, is that you? Oh my God, it's been ages. Where are you going looking like that? You look so neglected and unkempt." "I know I look messy and neglected because I'm just coming back from work, but I'm on my way to the market to buy food. You look so beautiful, Fadimatou." "Oh, thank you. What kind of work are you doing now? And by the way, are you married?" "No, I'm not married yet. I work on people's farms and help them clear their fields. They pay me for my work. That's what I do." "My God, how can you call that a job? That's not a job, my dear. You need to do better. Stop doing such hard labour, it's too much for you. Honestly, you need to try harder." "Well, I just wanted to tell you that I'm getting married next week, which is why I came back to this village to prepare for my big traditional wedding ceremony. The whole village is going to hear about it, and it's so wonderful. Please, may I be part of your bridal party? I'd love to join." "Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you're too old for that. Besides, my bridal party is reserved for prominent and wealthy girls. I'm sorry, but you're not on that level." "Excuse me." Aminatou was so surprised to hear such condescending words from Fadimatou. She couldn't believe what she had just heard. She was speechless and stood there for a few minutes thinking about what Fadimatou had just said to her. She burst into tears. She could no longer hold back her tears. She continued that day looking so sad, broken, and devastated. She sat on her bed thinking about her life. Suddenly a thought came to her mind. She went to her kitchen and took a toxic substance in a small bowl, then returned to her room and sat on the bed. She said to herself, "I am tired of being ridiculed. It's better to end it all now. Yes, I'd rather die than live a miserable life like this. This will be the only way to end my pain." As she was about to drink this substance, her hands close to her mouth, another thought came to her mind. If you drink this poison and die, who will take care of your mother and your sister? They will suffer even more. Is it worth it? Life would just be harder for your sister who is only 12 years old. As this thought crossed her mind, she was no longer able to take the poison. As she sat on her bed thinking, she fell asleep and had a dream. In her dream, she saw herself in a beautifully decorated room, filled with gold and silver and various types of beautiful jewellery. She had many servants around her, serving her as she drank and ate in a grand dining hall. She lived like a queen in her dream,